Hello, my name's Alison Waller, and I'd like to talk you through my thinking behind my Whakapapa art piece. First of all, I'd like to start with my actual PowerPoint that I've done and just talk you through that. So that's my making of my Whakapapa PowerPoint. I'm going to start from the beginning. I'm very, very lucky in that my mum left me a photo album that she made up for the family tree. Quite a large piece. This is the first page that you can see, and it's full of all sorts of exciting pictures of past and previous whānau. This on the left hand side is my dad's page. My dad sadly passed away probably about 20 years ago now. My page you can see on the right hand side that she did for me. My mum and dad and myself are in the graduation photo at the top right of the page there. And you can see my bad hair day from when I graduated from my bachelor's in the middle right hand side. And my first marriage is in the middle bottom, and second marriage and current marriage is in the bottom right. She was very diligent, my mother, and she visited Somerset House back in the day when Somerset House was actually the place where all the birth certificates were found, and death certificates as well, marriage certificates. And she visited there and she built up the family tree of my grandmother on each side. I never knew my grandfathers, they both passed away before I was born. So on the left hand side you can see the Parry family, and that's my maternal grandmother's family. She was a Parry, Lillian, before she got married. And on the right hand side I think you can see Lillian. She is the left hand side. Is she? No. Yeah, that's Gladys, Lillian and Uncle Harold. On the right hand side of the page you can see my granddad, John Anderton. Mum did the family tree for the Andertons. On my dad's side of the family, my granddad was Grandad John Coop, and my dad was also John Coop. And my Auntie Annie Coop is the person that you can see in the middle of the photo, middle of the page on the left hand side, and my grandmother is in the right hand photo. Auntie Annie Coop, I remember her because I was in person with the same initials of AC. Mine's Alison Coop when I was born, so I had her ring. And on the right hand side of the page, my grandmother was actually a Mags. So we've got the Mags side of the family tree. Once I got this album, I wasn't quite sure what to do with it. So I was very lucky. We had an art lesson and I spoke to Michelle, and she gave me a few ideas and tips. And some of my ideas were about being the English rose. Others were about flags. Others were about, because we've been new arrivals to New Zealand. I say new, we've been here 12 years. A koru, because New Zealand is our new beginning. Or whether it's flowers, English roses turning into pōtakawas, English oaks turning into pōtakawas, who knows. So we looked and we thought, what could we do? So the first jot down was on the left hand side of putting the photographs into a montage. It's like a koru. And then we looked at what we would do. Maybe the photos, looked at the size of the board. That's on the right hand side there. Should it be a square board? Should it be a rectangular board? What size of rectangle? What proportion of my koru am I going to have? And so on. So when I decided what idea I was going to go through, I then had to take photos of the photos in the album, which is the left hand side. It's a screenshot of all the photos. Then, because I needed to actually have the photos and print them out, I always divert to PowerPoint where I feel most comfortable. So I put all the photos into a montage PowerPoint. Then I had to make sure that none of the patio doors were left open, because otherwise all the bits of cutout paper would be absolutely everywhere. Then I had to spend time thinking about where I was going to arrange all the photos to get my effect of a koru. So this is me busily shuffling paper around like some ginormous game of Tetris. I decided I had to start gluing them down, otherwise they would start to blow around and disappear. So this is sort of my work in progress. And eventually I got the photos glued down, and then I found myself a template because I'm not very good at freehand drawing of a koru, and I made it, enlarged it because I didn't have access to an A4. I only had access to an A4 photocopier, so I made it into an A3 by freehanding round the template, and then I freehanded round that to make myself a different template, which you can see. And I positioned the template with my son and myself in the center. And if we go back a couple of photos, it's the photo, I'm wearing a red jacket, he's wearing his graduation robe, and that's the centre of our koru because we're the new beginnings. He's actually a New Zealand citizen and so am I. So positioned my koru around there, and then decided to think, what was I going to do as far as applying something to cover to make the image of the koru. So I got some silver paint and I got some glittery paint, and I got my Mod Podge that I've been using, and I trialed it. I got to a stage where I didn't like the amount of space. So we go back to this one, you can see there's quite a lot of board left. If you go way back, there we go, we've got quite a few gaps there. Go to here, and I've put the names, the whānau names, the family names, the Coop, the Mags, the Anderton, the Waller, because that's my husband's name, on there, and Parry as well. And then I thought about my original idea. You can see that the names are on there around with the relatives, about flags, because I have a varied background, and even though my photo is not very in focus, you can see some of the flags, the English George Cross, Cross of St Andrews, and I actually have Viking ancestry, so I've got a few of the Viking flags in there as well. We lived in America for 4 years, so we've got an American flag in there, and we've got a Union Jack. So that's explaining where the flags came in. I like the colour as well because I like the colours. So applied those flags and made my Mod Podge with my silver, mixed it in there, put my template down, and then liberally started to apply the silver onto there. And I was quite pleased. That's on the left hand side is the image laying down flat, and on the right hand side that's the image, and you can see the way that the light reflects on it. You can see my son and myself in the center, it's graduation, and down the bottom left hand side it starts with me as a baby holding my pram outside my house back in Wigan, and then another one with my family dressed up as Dutch people when we went to visit Holland on a family outing. And then the final picture there is of the koru next to a ginormous pile of dog log and food in my living room at home. I hope you like my thinking on my Whakapapa art piece, and I thoroughly enjoyed doing it. So thank you very much for listening. Really appreciate that. Okay, over and out. Bye. Find my